Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin Gerald. Welcome to the podcast where I'll share my thoughts on life and leadership. Now, this podcast is for everyone who loves the local church, whether you're leading the way or serving faithfully on a team. And if these conversations encourage or challenge you, would you hit subscribe, leave a quick review, and share this episode with a friend on your team. Let's keep growing together as we build teams that build the church. Today, we're going to continue talking from our book entitled, It Takes a Team. A reminder for you is that you can grab a copy at kevingerald.com, or you can also order in bulk for your team. Our specific topic for today is developing leaders within the team. I'm excited to introduce you to 5 types of leaders that when they come together form a great team. But first of all, I want to start with one essential ingredient in every great team, and that's the spirit of serving. When Jesus was recruiting his team and training them for the launch of the church, he talked a lot about serving. He said, if you want to be great, learn to serve. You see, leadership doesn't start with a platform. It starts with a towel. It starts in the soil of serving. You start by sweeping floors, setting up chairs, welcoming guests. And the truth is that if you don't have a spirit of serving, you'll never last in leadership, because leadership is serving. Leadership is serving. You see, the higher you go in an organization, the more responsibility that you have and the more weight that you carry for actually serving others. For example, David served his father, if you remember, by tending to his father's sheep. Nehemiah, before he was a governor and led the building of the walls of Jerusalem, he first served as a cupbearer. Joseph served the prison warden and then served Potiphar. Even Jesus said, I came not to be served, but to serve. Leading is a form of serving. And if leading ever becomes about positions and titles, you will fail in your leadership. Because when you're too big to serve, you're too small to lead. So remember, serving is the heart of leading. No matter how talented a person is, if they don't have a heart to serve, they will not have what it takes to lead. So I want to talk, first of all, about 3 reasons that you may not have the leaders that you need. We're going to be talking about developing leaders. That's really the point of today. We began by talking about the spirit of serving, but think with me about this next thought, because some of you are saying, I don't have the people that I need. I don't have the leaders that I need. So let's talk about 3 reasons. Number 1, you don't know what you're looking for. And we're going to help you with this today before we're finished. But this is really, a lot of time, you're looking for people that could lead something or oversee something or help with something, but you haven't really identified what it is, what the role is that you're looking for. Second reason that you may not have the people that you need is that you don't have enough interaction with people to know them and what potential they actually have. So this is really important because we have to make it a point that when we're interested or we see someone that might maybe wonder about, let your curiosity lead you to interact with people more so that you get to know them. And sometimes you'll be surprised what's right there in your own airspace or already there in your church, for example, is that by getting to know them, you see the potential that they have. Thirdly, you don't have a process, you don't have a plan for leadership development. That's three. You don't have a what to do with them once you spot them. What do I do to develop them? How do I actually sharpen these individuals? How do I let them know what our church culture is and the way we do things around here? Well, that may be something that's hindering you right now because you don't have a way that you are assimilating and developing leaders in your house. So great teams, you see, are intentionally built. They're not formed by chance or convenience. They are intentionally built. So hopefully that helps you a little bit today, just thinking about the three reasons that maybe you don't have the leaders that you need. I want to go over into the book, and I want to talk next about 5 types of leaders. I think you're really going to benefit from this, and I think it's going to be helpful for you in ways that maybe you haven't yet known or thought about to build your team. And so let's start with just the idea of me telling you how I came up with this or where we came up with this. We've identified a handful of key roles that show up on strong teams. So we look at strong teams and we say, well, what makes them strong? What is it that really helped that team to be a strong team in our organization? And so beginning with that, we came up with 5 kinds of leaders, 5 types of leaders that are on strong teams. And so I want to share with you those types of leaders. And our goal right now in our organization is to get as many of these types of leaders on every team that we possibly can. Okay, so the first one is what we call an informal leader. An informal leader is a person who oftentimes they are very busy in their life. They are company owners. They have a lot going, but they have a heart for the church. They have organizational skill. They have people skills. They interact in a way that is a blessing when they're around. They create a positive environment, atmosphere just when they walk in the room. However, they would say to you, I can't take on the responsibility of a whole department or leading a department, but I'm with you. I want to help out. What can I do? Well, this person is what we began to identify as an informal leader. And so I say to them, you've got a servant's heart. You have the heart of our church. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to move into the huddles on pre-service huddles with teams. I'd like you to be there, show up. I'd like you to greet people and encourage people. Come early for service, stay late after service if you can, because you, in my mind, you're a person of influence. So I want you to just wear that and think of yourself as that, somebody that I am actually deputizing to lead in a way that doesn't require a whole lot of task, but it is a spirit of leadership that can be a blessing in every environment that you go in. So you can walk into the parking lot team huddle and just go in there and say hello, greet all of them. You can go over to church kids and you can walk in pre-service and just high-five the teachers and the leaders and the team that's there and let them know we appreciate them and we love them and cheer them on that day. Just make yourself a person who is has permission to really lead by spirit in our house. That's an informal leader. The next one is team leaders. Now, team leaders are people who guide a group of team members. They provide direction for that team. They foster consistency. They help others to not only get connected, but stay connected to the vision of that particular team. So it could be church, kids team leader. It could be our audio or technical team leader, media team leader, creative team leader. It could be different areas, hospitality team leader, just different areas across, youth team leader. But these people are actually on a team as a leader of a team. The next one is organizational leaders. And I'll bet many of you have never thought of some of these as being leaders. I'm putting leader next to their name. Informal leader. Now I'm putting organizational leader next to their name. Organizational leader is a person who brings clarity to systems and communications. Remember this, clarity is kind. Clarity is kind. Sometimes it's straightforward. It's like, hey, arrival time is 7 a.m. for the team. We need you there at 7 o'clock. It's just straightforward information. Just remember, clarity is kind. It might be, hey, we need all of you to make sure you have your vest on when you're out in the parking lot. Clarity is kind, all right? And these organizational leaders, they help teams function by keeping things informed and structured and equipped. And so that might be scheduling of everybody when their day is to serve. And at our church, we have people serving at different days and so forth. Organizational leaders. The fourth kind of leader out of the five is what we would call a cultural leader or a culture leader. And the culture leader models the values of the house. So you protect the how behind the work. You help shape atmosphere with language and spirit and tone. Culture leaders, natural culture leaders walk in a room and they're like, something's off here. Like, something's not quite right. Maybe it's a meeting, a pre-service huddle, and everybody walked in, today in the meeting with some are getting there late. They're getting there, they're tired, they're weary, there's no real joy in serving, it needs to be lifted. So a culture leader might say to the team leader, hey, next weekend, how about we start with something upbeat? How about we start with sharing some wows? The first thing we do, how about we just we take it up a notch, because that's not who we are. We're not a bunch of sad servers. We are actually glad to get the opportunity to serve as our team, in our roles that we're in. So culture leaders notice little things like that in the culture that's not consistent with the culture, and they help lead culture forward. And then the last one is what we would call leaders of leaders. So above the team leader, we have leaders of leaders. And leaders of leaders are, for example, in our organization, our location pastors are leaders of leaders. And the bigger an organization grows, the more necessary it is for there to be not just leaders or not just team leaders, but leaders of leaders who might oversee 5 or 6 different team leaders at a time. So hopefully you get a little bit of the picture we're talking about here. And you might say, well, that's a little bit, complicated, and I just want to remind you, it takes a team. Like, we're better together. If you pay attention, you'll realize that none of us are good at everything. And so often, even in our world, I watch pastors who, they start a church and they have to do everything. and they are the organizational leader, they are the culture leader. They may not be gifted for it, and so pretty soon it's not really functioning well, or there's some challenges with it. But as the organization grows, we bring along other types of leaders onto the team, and everything gets better together. God bless you guys today. Hope this helps you in your developing of leaders.